Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is give thanks. Give thanks for the day ahead, for a new day that has never before been lived, a new day that I get to write a new story. What do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to have? That's so exciting when you think about what you really want. And then instead of letting all the negativity flood in about what happened yesterday, why you can't do what you want, looking at the reality that has already been created, instead of doing that, allow your mind to go into a soft place, an imaginary place, a place that you would really love. It just takes training your mind to take a deep breath in and to let that go. You might say, I am God's highest form of creation. I can choose what I want. I can choose to be whatever I want. I have unique gifts and talents and abilities that no one else has. I don't have to compare myself to others. I get to be me. And what does that look like? What does that feel like? The best version of me when I'm happy and healthy and living the way I want to be living. What does that look like? Earl Nightingale said, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. What would you choose to create? Can you see a picture of it in your mind? If you allow yourself to sit quietly, to turn off distractions, you might close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths and allow your body to relax. And then ask, what do I really want? You might have to ask that a few times if you've been programmed, if you've been programmed to work hard. If you're not working, you're lazy. If you're not earning money, you're not worth anything. You might have been programmed that money is the root of all evil, or that you don't need any more than you already have. There's all kinds of crazy ideas that we've been taught, that we've believed. We live in habitual ways of working and thinking and expecting and believing. That's a paradigm. A paradigm is a multitude of habits, a multitude of automatic ways that we think and do and behave and feel. And those paradigms are wired in us. They are running the show in our subconscious mind. So if you want to do something different, it takes more than changing your behavior. It takes practicing focusing on what you do want instead of looking at the current reality and complaining about it. What I'm going to ask you to do seems illogical. But we've learned to behave, to live life based on someone else's idea of what's right, based on other people's logic. Well, people in the world used to believe that the world was flat. They thought that was logical because if you went beyond the horizon, you'd fall off the end of the world until it was discovered that the world is not flat. We're held on to this globe, this little round ball hurtling through space by gravity. We don't see gravity, but we know it's there. We understand its effects. We understand that if you are on a high object like the roof of your house and you fall off, you're probably going to get hurt because you will fall to the ground. You're not going to fly. But there were the Wright brothers who decided they wanted to fly. That wasn't logical, but they figured out a way. They invented flight. They invented a contraption, an airplane that would allow them to fly. And now we don't even think about how we fly. We just get on an airplane and fly to another city or another country. It takes longer lining up in the airport and going through customs and security than it does to actually fly somewhere. These are ideas. Flight, light bulbs, cell phones, computers, furniture, houses. They were all a fantasy in someone's idea that other people said were not logical. Your subconscious mind holds a paradigm about what is logical. If you want to do something different, if you want to change the way you're living, that paradigm inside of you might say, oh, that's crazy. That's not realistic. I don't know how to do that. That's not logical. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. But you keep doing what you're doing, you keep getting the same results. And that paradigm has such an enormous influence over the use of your conscious facilities that when you try and use your imagination, oftentimes we use it in a negative manner. We imagine all kinds of things that could possibly happen if we fail, or if we step out to do something, we're afraid of the unknown. So we just stay doing the same things over and over and over. If you're not happy with what you're doing, how your life is going, some of the results that you're getting, it's important to take a look at if what I'm about to do today is something I don't want to do. It's going to cause me to stay stuck. It's going to cause me to feel miserable. It's not going to create a life that I truly desire. Maybe it's time to shake things up a little bit. Maybe it's time to leave a bad relationship or to change the way you look at things so that the relationship changes. Not waiting for the other person to change, but asking, how do I want to feel in this relationship? How do I want to feel about myself? I want to feel loved. I want to feel respected. I want to feel happy. Well, that starts getting into that state of being. What does it feel like to be happy? What does it feel like to be healthy? What does it feel like to be respected? Getting to that state of being what you want. If you're living in a state of lack, limitation, or poverty, you're not never going to be wealthy or feel prosperous until you get into that state of being. What would it feel like if I didn't have to worry about money, if I was prosperous, if I could be free to buy what I want when I want and do what I want when I want? I don't have to worry about bills because I'm focused on feeling prosperous, feeling healthy and wealthy, and being able to share the good of my life with other people. Most people don't want to be extremely wealthy, but they don't want to worry about bills. They want to be able to travel and live life and have fun and buy the things they want to use, and that takes money. So money is not the root of all evil. Money is just an exchange of value. You don't have to worry about it making you an evil person, but you have to get into the flow that money is something that you use. It's not evil, it's not to be loved or cherished, but it can help you live a more comfortable life. You might have grown up with a paradigm, an idea, a belief system that you have to work hard for money. And if you're not worthwhile, you're not able to be respected. Get rid of some of those limiting ideas. Your paradigm is a multitude of habits, and habits require a considerable amount of attention and discipline before they are changed. So, how do you change? First of all, ask what you really want. First thing in the morning, what do I really want? I want this day to flow easily. I want to get into the spirit of enjoying my day, being happy, being healthy, being wealthy enough that I can share my wealth with my family, my community. What would I do? Asking, what do I really want? And then visualizing what that, not only what it looks like, but how it feels. To move into a new paradigm, a new way of living, a new emotional state, you have to get a picture in your mind of how you want to be living with ease, with flow, with prosperity, with joy and happiness, loving relationships. How does that feel? Everything starts within our minds. You can build up your imagination and then get so emotionally involved in a beautiful vision that you start to get ideas. And those ideas start you moving into a different action because you get into a creative state. And when you get into a calm, creative state, feeling ease and flow, ideas pop into your head. And when you take action on those ideas, you start to change your outside world. So rather than looking at the outside world and how am I going to change this, you rehearse what does it feel like to be happy, healthy, loved, respected, to have your business flourishing, to live in the house you want, to just feel calm, to have faith that whatever you're working towards is going to happen. When you get a picture in your mind of what you want, just imagine that you're there and see life from that place. If one of your dream goals is to take a trip somewhere, you wouldn't just hope that it happened one day. You would start to research. You might talk to people who have been where you want to go. You might start researching what is there to do when I get there? How much does it cost to get there? What's the easiest way? How does it feel now that you're there? Now, the point is, eventually you're going to come home safe and sound, but that's your destination is not coming home safe and sound. You might already be safe and sound in your home. Your goal, the thing that you want to do, if you want to travel to a certain place and see all the sights there are to see, you research it, you think about it, you plan it, and then you go and do it. So whether you want to change occupations, have a loving relationship, or finally take that dream vacation, you need to spend some time in your mind imagining it, thinking about it, thinking from that goal already attained, from the wish fulfilled. Why do you want it? What would you be experiencing it at when you were there? Get there in your mind. Train your body to get so focused, thinking from what you want to do or be or have. You start to change your thinking. You start to change some of your habits. You start to do things differently so that what you really want shows up in your physical reality. If what you're about to do today is not getting you to your goal, it's not making you happy, it's something you're forcing yourself to do, maybe you decide that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to start that business that I've always wanted. I'm going to take that course so that I can get a degree, so that I can change occupations. I'm going to finally leave a bad relationship, no matter how scary it is. I know that I'm meant for something better. You can ask yourself, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, if you have a vision of something that you want, why do you want it? How would your life change? Sometimes you have to go 7 levels deep, asking yourself, why do I want that? What would it do for me? How would I feel? Getting into the spirit of what it would be like. Changing the way you think about yourself, changing the way you think about your talents, skills, and abilities, reminding yourself that you are God's highest form of creation, and what you think about, you bring about. What you focus on grows. I started out with Earl Nightingale's quote, "Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality." Start out with an idea and then follow a blueprint and think about it. Feel as if it's already done. Line up your paradigm to be in harmony more often with what you want. As you sit quietly and write out what you want, stirring the emotion in you, getting so emotionally involved in this beautiful picture that, and thinking about why you want it, you could cry with happiness. Why is it important to you? When you get emotionally involved in a beautiful picture of what you truly desire, and you get into that state of being there, you become electromagnetically fired up. Your emotions attract to you whatever's in harmony. Whatever's in harmony with your thoughts and your feelings, you see more of it. You experience more. As you're feeling good, notice the world seems better, easier, happier, more joyful. Create in your mind a beautiful picture of how you want to be living. Feel in your heart, feel in every cell of your being what it would be like to be in that state, living in that state. The cause is within you. The effects show up. You attract the conditions, circumstances, people, resources, everything you need to be living the way you want to be living. When you become aware, when you start rehearsing what it feels like, what it looks like, who are you now that your goal has been attained, that you're living the life you want? The results in your life, the life that you're living, is based on your beliefs, what you've been thinking, what you've been doing, how you've been acting. And you can tell how you've been feeling by how your life is. You want to be happy, healthy, wealthy, loved, respected. Be that. Do that. Become more aware of how you're thinking and feeling and acting, and start behaving the way you would be behaving if you were already living your best life, the best version of you, attracting to you the love of your life, the wealth that you desire, the experiences that you want in life. Everything becomes a reality when you focus on it, when you nourish it, when you pretend in your mind and in your heart that it's already yours. Everything falls into place because the physical realm is the last stage. You want new results? Cause them to show up in your life. Think, feel, and act like the person that already has that beautiful picture in your mind. It's not selfish. It's the spiritual side of you looking to express more life, to experience more and more. You are a spiritual being gifted with an intellect, living in a physical body. Create a beautiful picture in your mind and go and make it happen. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.